Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good night, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to another special edition of Broken Not Shattered. Today, I am here in the studio with my co-host Obi, who is back in Lagos, Nigeria. Obi, what's going on, bro? How you doing,
I'm
sir?
good.
Good.
I'm all right.
Okay, great. So today's we have a special guest in our midst, a young lady who's doing great and mighty things. I am super excited. I've spoken to her earlier on. Obi, it's something that I think young people all over the world should actually listen to and hear. And you know, one thing I like about Broken Not Shattered is that people will always go back later on and watch it because of the time difference. And I pray that the voice of this young lady will bring impact and change. She has a phenomenal story to tell. But what
Wow.
I'm going to do, Obi, is we're going to just do a quick uh, video of her, and she's going to tell her story. We listen to her. She does the intro, and then I will bring in our guest. I am excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. I don't get excited very easily like this. Well, this one is one is one for the books, and I know she's doing great stuff. What's up, man? You good?
I'm good. I like that.
Okay, good.
I like the way you're going about it. It's obvious
Right.
you're excited.
So let's watch this video of the young lady first of all.
Okay.
When I first became an artist, I was like, I just want to make something look cool. And that was my only goal. And now I've just kind of like developed myself more. And I know that I want to like kind of reach people, really be able to touch people. And I feel like XR, VR, AR is really the medium to do that. It really inspires people and pulls them more than just like a video, audio. It really blocks out the world and kind of pulls you into the story that you're trying to tell. Hi, my name is Gabrielle Idam. You can call me Gabby for short. I am now a fourth year game art and animation major at Northeastern University, and I am a part time worker at the Immersive Media Lab.
Gabby Idam fell into the world of virtual reality by happenstance. She became fascinated with this medium by attending a small workshop at her public library. From there, that schlocky program opened the door to this fantastical, immersive field that's been rapidly growing in popularity. Yet even as one door opens, there lies several for people like Gabby to enter the industry.
Every like any keynote speaker, anyone I'd see talking about 3D art or VR or anyone, I don't see anybody like me. There are very, very, very few minorities in this field because it's so small and it's like they haven't really made the appeal for minor. It's like they're just kind of like trying to get it out there. It's a little bit of gatekeeping because it's like if you don't have access to these technologies, you would never know. You don't really aren't familiar with these things. So it's still like there's a high barrier of entry, and that's why I feel like there's not a lot of minorities in this field.
And these barriers lead to understandable fear into the future of the industry, especially when huge tech companies are trying to occupy the space for themselves.
I know that Facebook is kind of abandoning their like in their quest to becoming meta. They're abandoning their old identity. They're really pursuing this whole new VR, AR centered world. And they really want to be the ones in control of it. I don't know how I feel about them being in control of it, but like I do admire their pursuit of AR and VR. And I feel like they're really like spirited about it and they feel like that it's the future. And I do see that it could be a huge industry. It's just not there right now. VR has been around since like the 70s. It's just that it's now coming into the public conscious. And I'm grateful for like Meta be able to push that through. And I hope that like inspires other people to like also build their own things. So it's not just one company dominating all. It's like everyone has a little piece of it.
So as Gabby tries to remain optimistic, to find her footing into this restrictive field, she knows that there are ways for this industry to go outside of themselves to reach new audiences.
Maybe instead of doing the usual VR presentation in a CS club, which is male dominated, white dominated, not really many people of color, you could go out of your way to like go to like a cultural center and be like, okay, this is VR. These are the experiences that we have. This is what we're working on. And these are how you can get involved in it, even though you might not have the necessary PC or requirements. We have these spaces open for you to use and really take advantage of. Like my uncle was working on this experience where he was building a VR fantasy world based on Ganyan folk tales, Anansi tales. And so basically he was building this world and kind of bringing his own culture into other people's lives. And I think that's kind of like how this revolution of like a lot of people are in CS now. Like before it was like the Bill Gates and the Mark Zuckerbergs, but like now it's really opening up to minorities. So I feel like that's the kind of revolution VR needs to go through, where it like opens up slowly, little by little.
But Gabby isn't sitting around and waiting for this revolution to start. As president of Northeastern's Virtual Reality Club, Gabby is determined to make VR a space for diversity and inclusivity, having her club serve as a reflection for what's to come.
So with NUVR, it's actually an interesting case because it like started like, male dominated, all these CS guys, all like majority white. And then it's like as we expand ourselves and like find different people that we're reaching out to, we find that our club becomes naturally more diverse. Now I'm stepping into the role like as the second female president, and I'm just kind of like saying, how can I continue this legacy? How can I continue to make it open and accessible for people who look like me or who don't even look like me or who are like coming from different backgrounds? So yeah, I hope that we really build out this space and the industry becomes more diverse and there's a lot more representation, not just in like the people who are working on it, but also in like disciplines, so that we're able to create a creative space where it's not just one person, one kind of archetype that we're looking at, but like all different types of stories and experiences. Girls.
Wow, Obi. Ladies and gentlemen, uh, please let us welcome to the studio our guest today, this young and dynamic virtual realist, Miss Gabby Adam. Hey, Gabby, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Wow, that video says it all. It's
Go on.
that video is pretty loaded.
Yeah.
Pretty loaded. So tell us a little bit about yourself as a person. Don't go to the VR part yet. Just talk about who you are, what's your background, where you actually from, and then see if there's some young people who are watching today that can actually believe this. Because I have a lot of questions for you in this 30-minute session, Gabby, and I know you're ready. Let's go.
Yeah. So, hi, everyone. I'm Gabby, as you just saw, and I am from Maryland, but my family is from Ghana. And so, right now, I'm studying at Northeastern University. I'm here right now in Boston, finishing my final semester of my final year at Northeastern, which is very exciting. And so, like, just kind of like a little bit about my journey of like how I got like here and where I am right now as a person. Like growing up when I was younger, I really loved drawing. I really loved doodling. I was drawing everywhere. And I think that like my parents recognized this and they wanted to tap into this potential. So they really encouraged me to keep drawing, keep drawing, keep drawing. But like as I grew up, I wasn't as confident in myself. And I really didn't know what I wanted to do. And so kind of like having my parents there pushing me into these programs, really exploring how I can grow and develop and really see the different parts of the art world that I didn't realize before. That's kind of how I got into animation and then further into VR. But like, that's just a little bit about me. Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. While you were talking, I was listening to something that was very important. And one thing I picked up very quickly, Gabby, was the part you were talking about your parents. That they pushed you into this area, right?
Mhm.
Now, the average African parent, if I may say so,
Yes.
this is where they want you to become a doctor, they want you to become a lawyer, or they want you to become an engineer, and they think if you don't have any of those professions, pretty much you're done for, and growing up for most of us, I don't know how about Obi. Obi is quite a young man, so he might not experience this.
We
Growing
don't
up,
have that.
those old folks like us, right? We know that the only way that we were able to please our parents was actually doing those professional courses that they thought were it, right? But it's amazing looking back now. Where the money is really is not in the lawyers. How many lawyers do you know that are multimillionaires, or how many doctors do you really know that are really, really, wealthy? And then you look at the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world, and you look about even guys like Messi who plays soccer, and so people are now finding their own path. It's
Mhm.
so with that drop back of your um, permit me to say your African background, how were you able to navigate to do what you wanted to do? And did your parents initially come to the realization or say, hey, this is the way forward, we want you to go with it? Or was it a question of you fought your way and they said, you know what, we'll back off and support you?
I think it was really a learning experience on both of our ends. Like both me finding what I can do within the field and also my parents finding ways to support me and really encourage me in the things that I love to do. Because it's like I did well in school in general. I did well in history and writing and maths, but it's like I didn't enjoy it. I didn't find passion in it. I didn't feel myself wanting to do it day in, day out and have that be my passion. So like art was my passion, and seeing that they really wanted to kind of tap into that potential and really encourage me to hone my skills and be not only good at it but be excellent, be the best I can be in that field. Yeah.
Wow. It's the honing of the skills, right? That's
Hmm.
mastering your own space. The Bible says to us, and we're Christians on this platform, so I don't have any problems using scripture. But it says that your gift will make room for you.
Hmm.
So basically, the gift that you had to be a creator of some sort, an artist of some sort, has actually brought you to the forefront.
Hmm.
And it's going to be an exciting ride for you, Gabby. Uh,
Yes.
yes, it's going to be, and I'm glad that your parents were able to, give you the backing. Maybe because they have been here in the Western world, and I pray for the parents who are watching this that all you can do is really support your child. Every child has their own unique path to follow. They don't always have to be doctors. Let me give you my own story, Gabby. Believe it or not, right? My parents wanted me to be a lawyer, and I also felt I wanted to be a lawyer, right? So I took the exams a couple of times and I failed, right? So I ended up going to university to do my first degree in international history, and then I found out my passion really was empowering people, uplifting people, and inspiring people. So I went into HR, human resources, and that is my professional background. So I
Mhm.
enjoy training and doing stuff in that space, right? But deep down, what I love doing was organizing parties, just throwing parties and people having a good time and having a ball and forgetting about their sorrows. And then the second thing was speaking. I loved public speaking. And so this platform is what I just enjoy. So the gifts is what we need to master. And I'm glad you found yours. Obi?
Wow. So this is quite interesting. Gabby, I'm gonna be asking you just a few questions. But
Okay.
first, I'm interested in the difficulties. Now, this is Gabby now, right?
Mhm.
Before you get to this point, what were the difficulties
Right.
on your way to this part?
Yeah.
Just the
Yeah.
difficulties, so we understand it well, because it looks so beautiful, like you never had any difficulty arriving.
No challenges
Then I will
whatsoever.
come
Right.
again with
Yeah. So growing up, I guess because I wasn't so sure in myself, I felt very anxious. And so I wasn't really confident in like what my skills were, what I could do. I felt that like I was listening to what other people were saying, like, oh, art is not a real career. You can't really make money out of art. You have to focus on something else. And this Bible verse was kind of one of my main inspirations into kind of turning against that. It's Philippians 4, verses 6 and 7, which says, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace that of God, which
Wow.
transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and mind in Christ Jesus.
That's right. Wow.
And so it's like reflecting on that verse and really kind of understanding God's peace and that He has guidance over my life. That no matter what I choose, no matter what I do, He will kind of correct my path and kind of show me where I will be going, no matter what other people are saying and kind of discouraging me. And all these mixed messages I'm getting from like media and school and all these other influences. So I felt like that was kind of my coming to and my coming of age as I grew older.
So how did you overcome the challenges though? Was that just based on that scripture? Was that it?
No, no, for me, it was just kind of like daily reflection and just checking in on like where I am that day, what I feel proud of, what I feel like I need to work on, and kind of really making those goals very clear and apparent to me. Whether it's like, oh, I need to write applications for colleges, or I need to work on my art portfolio so I can build out more art pieces to see show off to recruiters, or whether it's just kind of attending like special classes where I can learn different skills. So it's just daily reflection and repetition of practicing my skills and really honing that.
Now, this area is a
So with
very
that,
this
okay.
area is a very secluded area. There's a lot of
Mm,
gatekeeping in this area.
mm,
When I say gatekeeping, it's predominantly male
Yeah.
that move into this area and Caucasian men,
Mm,
yeah, white
yeah.
guys. So this is a very predominant. So how does someone? How do you now come in to overcome to bust through those gates pretty much and show up on the scene as a young African American girl?
I think the biggest thing for me was learning how to be confident, how to enter a room and not like look down on yourself and already judge yourself based on the room and like how everybody else looks. You should be confident in your skills. You should be proud of your skills, and you should, even if you feel like you do fall short, like your confidence can make a huge difference, a leap um, in between you and like the next person, and just not focusing too much on the differences, but focusing on the similarities and how we can work together to create something that will appeal to more people like me, who will encourage more people to join this field and really understand like what is going on and be able
So,
to,
so
yeah.
in a sense, you feel that you belong in the room. Just walk
Yes.
into the room feeling like I belong here. Yeah.
Yes.
So let's be very practical now. There's a young girl who's watching this, right? We don't
Mhm.
know in the back streets of nowhere, right? She comes across this interview and she's listening to you, but you just said you learned how to become confident. Gabby, tell her, whoever her is or him, how to become confident. What do they do? Are they steps to follow?
Oh, that's
Ooh, you
a
didn't see it
hard
coming, huh?
question.
Welcome to Broken Not Shattered.
I think for me, like the way I've been able to become more confident is through my interactions with people, and just kind of having those hard conversations where you're really trying to break down and understand what a topic is like or what an industry is like, um, and um, really understand how you fit into that. And then from there, you kind of understand, you kind of build self worth. You look at reflecting on your work, like I said earlier, like a lot of my reflections kind of gives me confidence in the work that I've done, to see that like I haven't been working so hard for nothing. I have come here for a reason. I have skills that I need to show. I belong here just like everyone else.
Right. Wow. Obi?
So
Woo.
that's I
I
think I'm
am
short of words.
I'm so
I,
impressed.
I I'm really impressed. So Gabby, I'm seriously interested in those dark moments. Were there times when you felt like giving up? What were they like? Can you give details? Were there times you could remember that you almost dropped it?
Mm. Yeah.
So what were those moments like?
Yeah. I guess one of the darker moments was definitely like senior year of high school, when I was applying to schools, and I like wasn't sure like whether I was really good enough. So it's like I felt like I was doing all these essays, applications, everything for nothing, because it's like I wasn't hearing back. I wasn't really getting the validation that I thought I was. Like my peers left and right, they're applying to all these Ivy League schools, Harvard, Stanford, all of these schools, and here I was applying to more art schools and like not really getting what I thought that um, I was supposed to receive. But then I think it was really just kind of God taught me patience, for sure. Patience is very important, because it was just a few months later when I started getting scholarships, when I started getting awards, when I started hearing back from schools and competitions that I was a part of. And I really grew through that. I realized that sometimes all you need to do is really wait and see where the Lord takes you. So yeah.
And that is where the challenge is. The challenge is actually in the waiting.
Hmm.
Yeah, wait on the Lord. It's actually in the waiting, and I'm glad you brought it up for all the young people who are watching, even for those of us who are older. It's actually, it truly and honestly in the waiting. Your mom sent in something, Gabby, that
Yeah.
Exodus 31 verse 1 to 5 inspired her as your parents to understand that Gabby's gift was from God. Wow. So, Miss Bridget, wherever you are in the world, thank you for the work you did to raise up such a wonderful, young, dynamic young lady. Now, this is an area that we were talking about earlier on about the diversity.
Hmm.
How do you want to use your platform to get younger people to actually become more involved in VR? That's question number one.
Hmm.
And question number two, then, Gabby, is if they now become involved in VR, is VR truly and honestly the future? Hold that thought. We'll be coming back after this break. Welcome to the last segment of Broken Not Shattered. Today, our guest, all the way from Boston, is Gabby Adams, the future of VR in America. And for those who don't know what VR is, it's virtual reality. You can check out Gabby on YouTube. I guess you're on YouTube, right, Gabby?
Yes.
And you are also on Instagram.
Yes.
What is your Instagram handle so our guests can also find you? So we can.
G dot SEDI underscore.
Okay, thank you. You can say that again one time, please.
G dot SEDI underscore.
Okay, wonderful. We've got about say 5 6 minutes left, Gabby.
Hmm.
Um, the question I asked you before we went on the break, um, diversity.
Yes.
How does the ethnic minority find their feet here? What are you going to use with the platform? And truly and honestly, is this the future?
I think when it comes to virtual diversity and virtual reality, it's really making applications that appeal to people like you. Like as a diverse creator, making sure you keep other diverse consumers in mind. Like for example, I mentioned in the video, like my uncle making uh, appli- a, a storytelling application where he tells stories about the Anansi tales from Ghana, and so it's like not only are you educating those who are not part of that culture, but you're also kind of making a connection to those who understand the culture and expressing that connection.
Wow.
And so, like through just simply doing that, you can encourage more people to join the field and really kind of diversify not only the look of VR, the industry, but also like the thinking and like what people consider as they build different applications.
Wow.
Um, yeah.
So is it really the future?
That brings up. So that brings to the second question: is
Yeah.
VR the future?
I believe it is. I believe that this is really the next step to the technology overtaking of the world. um, from like now we are so like tethered to our computers, our phones. They've become a big part of our lives. Virtual reality is just really the next step of kind of immersing ourselves into technology. When the technology leaves our hands and becomes like part of our eyes, our glasses, just kind of all over the world. Virtual reality really has a strong impact in kind of creating that not only technological connection but emotional connection. You're able to relate more to the art as um, you get more immersed in that medium. Yeah.
Because virtual reality has been around for quite a while.
Hmm.
It's been around what since the 70s, right?
Yeah.
Early 80s. We've had this buzz for quite a while. What is it about it that has now come to the forefront? What is it? Is it because everybody's now technologically advanced, or that we're putting more trust in our gadgets and our gizmos? What is it from? What is it that really
I think that now, like, yeah, like you were saying, we're more technologically advanced. We're more open to accepting new things. And VR is just kind of like one of those new things that has been sitting in the background for a while and is now coming to the forefront. Especially like as bigger companies are investing more money, more time into these things, they're making it more available to the public, which was one of the biggest things that was gatekeeping diverse creators from diving into this field, because it's so expensive. You don't have the right equipment, and it's hard to develop for. But as more money is getting put into the field, more people are becoming more connected to the field and being able to create their own unique things. Um,
Go
yeah.
ahead. Go ahead.
Just like in general, VR is not only just gaming, but there are many other different applications.
Exactly.
Such as,
So how does, sorry for interrupting you, but how does that application help with science and other fields or in teaching? How do you bring all that? How does, explain to us how you can use VR to enhance teaching, for instance, or
okay.
science?
One example I can think of off the top of my head is here, the main hospital, Mass General. They're using VR in their physical rehab and pain reduction units. They're basically taking their patients through VR and through relaxing experiences so that they can kind of take their minds away from the pain that they're experiencing in the physical. It's also being used for physical rehab because it kind of makes their rehab process more fun as they're moving their body, they're getting the exercise they need through like a more enjoyable application. So it's not just kind of being tethered to how their body feels, but kind of be able to escape a little bit and really connect to a more virtual world.
So the virtual world, is it a real world? And how do we balance this moving forward as people? Are we going to get to the point where we're going to be so wired to these gadgets, think of the virtual world and not think about reality? Where does the faith come into this? In other words, will this alter the grand purpose of why God had created man? Do you think? What's your
I,
thought?
I don't think so. I think just like the internet has become a device for sharing and connecting others to the word and to God and kind of sharing that message, just like how you got into sharing your message with other people. I think virtual reality is just like another form of interconnection between people in a more global society as things get more connected. So it's basically just another way of be able to share and connect with others and really spread the message even more.
Wow, Gabby, it's been a pleasure really talking to you. What would you say to another young person who's listening? And just take 1 minute and just say, encourage someone, inspire someone, give someone a sense of hope. This is your minute.
I guess I would say God has a plan for you. Don't give up. Be patient. Um, be persistent, and continue to work on your dreams, your goals. Don't, whatever other people are saying, continue to be steadfast and straightforward in what you want to do and what you want to accomplish. I wish the best for you, and I hope that you will really be able to grow and learn in whatever God has planned for you.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Obi and I and the rest of our guests, wherever they are in the world, are going to be so happy when they watch this and when they come back to watch it again. You have been an inspiration, and I hope to have you back again when I have some other younger people. And because I see the reason why I stay young, Gabby, is because I hang around. Obi's an old man. He's an old guy. He likes hanging around old men, right? I don't like hanging around old.
I don't have gray hairs, Gabby.
I have. I like hanging around young people. My daughters come around. I'm actually asking them questions and getting to know. It's been a pleasure and a joy having you as our guest on Broken Not Shattered, and we hope to have you soon. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest today, Miss Gabby Adam. Thank you, Gabby. All the
Thank
best.
you.
May the Lord bless you and the work that He's. Wow, Obi, that's a young lady doing great and mighty things. It's
Honestly,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah. Well, what an interesting show. What our time is up. On behalf of Obi, myself, and the rest of our crew at Broken Not Shattered, please follow us on our virtual social media platforms. I have been told by my engineers to actually inform everyone to click and subscribe on Broken Not Shattered, our platform. That's the way the our platform gets more and more seen by others, and we are working towards expanding the platform. So we hope that you will go right now and take a minute, just click subscribe, and we hope to see you again next Sunday. On behalf of our guest, Miss Gabby, that was such a powerful session, and all our audience
That
across
is
the United Kingdom, those of us who are here in the United States, those of us in the Far East and in Sub-Saharan Africa, especially Lagos, where my brother and friend Obi is residing. We want to say have a wonderful, wonderful week. And in our three words, Obi, love, peace, and more grace. We hope to see you again next week on another edition of Broken, Not Shattered. Tell a
not
friend.
that.
All right, buddy. See you, my man.
See you.